Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jules, and today is day one of the Let's Get Graphic Readathon. This is a 24-hour readathon. I am going to be vlogging everything that I'm reading for this. So let me show you what I'm going to be reading. So there are 4 reading prompts for this. So I'm going to show you the 4 books that I have picked out for that. And then I have 4 additional books not related to the prompts that I'm hoping to get to as well. So we're going to be doing a lot of reading in the next 24 hours. So the first prompt is to read a book with a 3-word title. For that, I'm going to be reading Fairest of All. This is a villain's graphic novel. The second prompt is to read a book with 3 or more people on the cover. And for that, I'm going to be reading Off Menu. Sorry for the glare. It's library copy, so it's all glossy. The third prompt is to read a middle grade book. I'm going to be reading Goosebumps Creepy Crawly Comics. I'm excited to read this one too. And then the last prompt is to read a book with spring vibes. And for that, I am reading the second book in the Lightfall series, Shadow of the Bird. I really like this series. It's so colorful. I kind of wish I had the first one. I should have gotten the first one from the library to like read it again before this one. I might have to go tomorrow and see if they have it before I read this one, just because I wonder if they have it on Kindle. Ooh, or maybe Hoopla. Sometimes Hoopla has graphic novels. I feel like I need a refresher because it's been like a year. I read this first one like a year ago. Anyway, so then the other books that I'm hoping to get to is Part of Your World. It's a Twisted Tales graphic novel. This is a Little Mermaid. Chef's Kiss. The Girl from the Sea. And The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. Again, sorry for the glossy glare. Anyway, so that is what is on my lineup for this readathon. Again, this is just a 24-hour readathon to read as many as you can in the next 24 hours. Technically, it doesn't really start till this evening. We are hosting some reading sprints on Gwen's channel, so I'll be doing reading sprints tonight. So it really goes from like 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, but I'm starting early because I have all these books I want to read and I have to sleep. So what do I want to start with? So yeah, like I said, I think I want to start with Off Menu. So I'm going to read this one and then I will come back with my thoughts on it. And my husband's working tomorrow, so I think my plan is to maybe go to a coffee shop tomorrow. I'm definitely going to go to used bookstore. I know I'm going to Half Price Books for sure. And then I may go to the crazy overcrowded bookstore that I only go to like once a year because it's a little too much. But I would like to see if they have some point horror books, because Old School April's coming up and I would like to have some more of those, even though I haven't read all the ones that I have. It's a thing. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, I'll be back. Welcome to my kitchen. Y'all are in the cabinet. I don't really have a good place to put my phone when I'm doing anything in my kitchen, but I'm gonna make an iced matcha latte. I've never made a matcha before. I got a free sample from Dose. This is a place that I get my mushroom coffee from. So I have been drinking mushroom coffee for like a month, and it has mushrooms, collagen, protein, and nootropics. It helps with boosted energy, elevates mood, gut health, and enhances focus. So I don't know. I like it. I like the flavor of it. But anyway, they sent me, so my second month, I got this cool little container. It's ceramic that my mushroom coffee goes in. There it is. And it says, "You got this." And I have this nice metal spoon that it came with. And they sent me this free sample of matcha. I don't know if I like matcha. My friend Gwen loves matcha and she makes it. So I was like, how do you make it? And so she did a tutorial yesterday. And she sent me a video tutorial on how she makes hers. So for it, we need the matcha, we need cinnamon, we need honey, we need milk. I'm using Fairlife Extra Protein, and a ginger. That's what I call it. And yeah, I'm about to make this and see how it tastes. I'm gonna move you guys down so you can maybe see what I'm doing. I don't know, like I said, I don't have a good angle here. So let's go. Oh, and I forgot, excuse me, and I forgot you need water to mix the matcha. Okay, now let's go. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. This does not look good. This smells like cinnamon grass. This looks much better than it did, but maybe I probably used too much matcha. I said to mix the whole thing. It said pour the packet in. Mix with 3 to 7 ounces. I probably used too much. Here we go. I'm nervous. Okay. It's not bad. Okay. I was nervous, y'all. I don't like green looking stuff. Okay. That's not bad. It's kind of earthy, but like not awful. I feel like it could be sweeter though. Maybe a splash of, you know, I'll put a splash of like vanilla creamer in it. Hello, I am back with an update. I am finally off work. Thank goodness. It was busy today. So I did only manage to get half of this read before work was over, but then after I got off work, I literally just sat down and finished reading this. So this was pretty cute. I think I'm gonna give it probably a 3-star. So we did start with Soup working her tail off in this restaurant, and this is her boss, and he basically thought he was in charge of everyone, everything, even the town. He had like the council people like in his pocket. He didn't really do anything at the restaurant besides like when it got busy, he was like, oh, I'm gonna go to have a drink or whatever. And then in one of the shifts, he told her that 2 of the people weren't coming in, that she was gonna have to do extra work. And then he was like, oh, and I'm leaving too, so you're in charge. And so she was like, oh, I'm in charge. So she had made this dish and it was really good. So she was like, I'm going to put it on the menu. Well, the boss comes back and sees that there's a new dish on his menu. And he's like, who gave anyone the right to do that? He's like, this is my restaurant. So he treated his staff poorly. He ended up yelling at her and everyone was like, oh, this is the first time you've ever been yelled at. Like he yells at all of us like that. So just not a nice person. And Soup actually was dropped off in a pot when she was a baby, in a big soup pot when she was a baby at this restaurant, which he did not used to own. But so she was raised up in this restaurant and taken in, and he's in charge of the restaurant now. He ends up yelling at one of the other workers, and she kind of sticks up for him, and he's like, who gives you the right to talk to me like that? And she's like, you need to stop being so rude to everybody. There's this marketplace where there's a bunch of people that are selling things and cooking food and whatever, and she starts talking to a lot of them and finding out that he has like kind of forced them out of their restaurants to where they only have these little stands at these markets. They don't have any restaurants because he's like either told lies about them or stolen recipes or whatever. So the recipe that she had put on the menu that he made her take off, he ended up making a flyer and was like, come try my new dish. And he like took credit for her dish. So she was very angry about it. So she ends up basically challenging him to, when she sticks up for this other coworker, she ends up challenging him to this competition and basically is like, if I win, you have to step down and leave and not be in charge of anything. So they do this whole big cooking competition, and then, you know, basically her and her friend have to figure out a way to like show everybody that he's a big fat liar and a cheater and he's no good. I did enjoy looking at the scenes of her when she's just like in her own element and she's just like cooking, and like it just shows her like doing all her different culinary skills, like when they're doing the competition, just kind of in her element. So it was fun. So I did enjoy it. So 3 stars for this one. So I'm gonna get dinner here in just a little bit, and then we've got reading sprints tonight. So I think I'm going to pick up the Goosebumps book. It doesn't look very wordy, which is nice because this one actually had a lot You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of, you know, reading on there. So it did take me longer to read it because there was quite a bit of words in it. But that also makes for a good storyline. So yeah, this one doesn't have a ton and it just looks fun. So yeah, I think I'm going to start with this one and hopefully I can get all of this one read on sprints tonight. But I will be back when I have my thoughts on this book for you. Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday. I'm back with some updates. So we did reading sprints last night, but they ended up being on my channel because Gwen's StreamYard was showing she did not have any hours left. So her available StreamYard hours was messed up. And she thought they changed it, but then Keisha and I were looking at ours and we're like, no, we still have this much. And so I ended up having to last minute scramble around and host reading sprints. So it was a lot of fun. And on reading sprints, I read almost this whole Goosebumps. I had like 10 pages left, so I finished it afterwards. So this was so fun. This is actually 3 stories. So it has I don't like that my binding is, the binding of this between, so like this is like really tight, right? But then that is not, and you can hear it when you open it. I hate that. Which means at some point, some of these pages are probably gonna fall out. Unless I like re-glue it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so we have Monsters at Midnight, which that one was a story about a couple of sisters went and stayed with their grandma for the summer because one of the sisters had a hurt foot. And the younger sister liked to read, and they happened to walk past this bookstore, and she's like, oh, I want to go to this bookstore. And the grandma's like, no, we don't have time. And then like they snuck out later and went to this bookstore because she left her book at home and she was reading Don't Go Into the Basement, and she wanted to know how it ended, which is an R.L. Stine book. But when she got to the bookstore, there was like a section of like weird, strange books, and they ended up, and some of them showed they had R.L. Stine titles too. And they ended up going into this one dark room that ended up transporting them into Horrorland. If you read Goosebumps books, then you know what Horrorland is. So welcome to Horrorland. So they were like, what is this place? And so they basically had to like survive all these crazy things and try and find their way back. So it was pretty fun. And then the second story is Download and Die. And this is a story about a group of friends. It's in high school, and there's a new girl. And so there's 2 friends, and then the new girl comes in, and so they kind of all start being friends. And one of the friends is afraid that the other 2 girls are going to get closer than they were. Her phone ends up getting broke, and then all of a sudden she's gifted this new phone. It like shows up at her door, and her friends are like, that's weird. You don't know who it's from. It's like the most coolest phone ever, and it has like the apps that are not even like out yet, and they're like, that's just weird, you shouldn't use it. And so this is the phone she gets. And then things start happening, strange things start happening. She can like see things that aren't there, like ghosts that aren't there, and she can like hear her friends' thoughts. It makes her kind of more jealous, and so it's kind of cool how it's like takes over kind of her personality, like, you know. But anyway, so that one was a fun one too. I think I probably liked that one the best of all 3, but they were all really good. And then the third one is Horrors of the Witch House. This one also has a group of kids that there's this house that everybody says is haunted, and it's been like for sale forever and no one's ever bought it. And then all of a sudden somebody buys it, and some of the kids want to like sneak over and kind of like check out who this new person is that bought it. And they end up seeing some crazy stuff in the window, and she's a witch. And then she ends up putting a spell on like all the adults in the town. And basically she wants to like take over the whole town. And yeah, so the graphics are just like really fun in it. All of the graphics are just very colorful and detailed. Like, I would probably go back and just, now that I know the story and I don't have to read the story, I will probably go back and just like look through all the pictures more in depth, because it's just cool, like the stuff that you don't notice probably when you're reading it the first time around. You know what I mean? Like this section, like, you know, you're gonna read it, but there's like so much more going on, like things in the background. And but anyway, I'm giving this one 5 stars because I had a really good time with it. And then next, this morning I am going to pick up Fairest of All. And yeah, I'm gonna read this one before I do anything today. It's still early, it's just now 8 o'clock, so places won't be opening for a little while. But I do plan on going to Half Price Books because I want to look at their Goosebumps books. I haven't been forever. I used to go like every couple weeks, at least maybe like twice a month, to look and see what Goosebumps books they have. But I have not gone like in a couple months probably. Actually, maybe not at all this year, which would be a couple months. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. And then I may go out to like I mentioned, I may go out to the crazy bookstore. And yeah, I got to go see my mom today. My husband's working, my daughter's working, so she's kind of quiet. So I'm going to do a little reading, and then I'll get out and about. But I will check in with you later with some updates. I'm back with updates. I finished this one, and I really enjoyed reading this one. So this is the story of how the evil queen became the evil queen. So it starts off with her marrying the king and becoming the stepmother to Snow White. And of course, the king ends up leaving shortly after because he's going out to fight the war with all of his people. He does end up coming back, and he leaves and he comes back. So just he's kind of in and out of the picture. So it's mostly just her and Snow White, and then one of her maidservants who's more like, has become more like a sister to her. She kind of like talks to her and tells her everything. They go on adventures out in the woods. They take picnics, they pick flowers, you know, they go visit Snow White's mom's grave, and like they just are doing bonding things, and they're having a good time with it. She ends up walking past one of the mirrors in her house, and it talks to her. She thinks she's seeing things, and so she wants it destroyed because she's like, it's crazy, I don't know what's going on. So the mirror's destroyed, and then it comes back. So the mirror like repairs itself, and then she gets a visit from the 3 sisters, the Odd Sisters, which I've not really paid attention to the Odd Sisters. I did not realize that they played a kind of a part in all of these stories. Like they were mentioned in the Hook story that I read, Never Never, of hers, the actual book. And so it's 3 cousins of the kings, and they're kind of wicked, and they're witches. And so they have got, which she doesn't know this at the time, they come to visit, and they're just kind of sinister. They don't have good intentions. And they end up asking her how she liked their gift. And she's like, what gift? And so she realizes that the mirror was a gift from the Odd Sisters. And that is what, and they like basically trapped her father's soul in the mirror. And then we get this whole backstory of how, so her father was the maker of mirrors, and her mother died in childbirth. So her father basically hated her entire life, always told her she was ugly and that nobody would ever want her. And so she grew up feeling very insecure about herself and not feeling pretty. And then she gets this mirror, and the Odd Sisters tell her, you know, show her how to use it. And of course, that's what comes of the who's the fairest in the land, because she needs that confirmation that she is pretty and that she's the fairest in the land. So then it follows along her getting kind of obsessed with this mirror. Of course, the king ends up dying. The mirror shows her this. The king does die, and she goes into like a depression, and then she gets very hyper fixated on this mirror and is always asking it every day, like, who's the fairest and all this. And so and she's kind of pulling herself away from Snow White, and so they don't have a good relationship anymore. And then of course, you know, Snow White grows up and she sees this, you know, charming man that Prince Charming, that she, you know, is liking. The queen is seeing some jealousy in that because she's missing, you know, her husband, which at the very beginning of the book, it does show they did love each other. They really loved each other. And her father, of course, was like, you must have bewitched him because no one could love you. And so she just always had this, you know, insecurity. But, so yeah, we just kind of go from this, you know, loving relationship into all this, you know, sinister stuff. And then the Odd Sisters keep sending her gifts, which end up being like spell books. And so now the queen's practicing, you know, spells, and then everybody else knows the story that the mirror ends up telling her she is not the fairest at all, Snow White is. The mirror, you know, tells her she has to get rid of Snow White, and she's like, why would you make me do that? I love Snow White. And he's like, because, you know, basically it was the father's way of getting back at her, taking away something she loves because she doesn't deserve to have anything or have anybody love her. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, had a really good time with it. So I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. Now I'm gonna head out and go to the bookstores. Okay, y'all, Half Price Books was a bust. First of all, there was entirely too many people in there. Like, this is probably the busiest I have ever seen this place. There's people everywhere. And like, people just don't know how to not invade your space. I don't know about anybody else, but if like I'm at a store and I turn the corner to go down an aisle and there's people in it, sometimes I will just not go down that aisle. That is how much I am just like not wanting to be in people's spaces, looking at the same thing. I will wait my turn. I will wait till you are gone, and then I will go look. Also, if y'all see any bouncing potholes, okay? We have bad potholes here. It's ridiculous, the amount of potholes in this city. Okay, I'm going to the really messy bookstore now. Wish me luck. I don't know that I'm gonna find anything. I'm really just going to see if they have any point horror books, because that's where I found a lot of them last time. But you know, we'll see. Oh my goodness, you guys. That place is always so much cluster. I ended up scoring. I did find some books. I ended up finding some. I'll do a haul when I get home because right now I have to pee. But I ended up finding some R.L. Stine super chiller books and some point horror books. But when I went to check out, when I went to check out, there was like an issue with his Square like reader. It wasn't like their internet was not connecting right, apparently. So it wasn't taking it. And he was like, I'm not going that way. That's not an exit. Oh my gosh, that is the cutest thing ever. I gotta flip this around and show you guys. There's this like little park here. Look at that little pirate ship playhouse thing. That is freaking adorable. So I ended up getting 13 books and my total, like with tax and everything, was like 24 bucks. I was like, that's good. So they were like under $2 a piece. So if you guys hear any noises, I got something in the back's rattling. But when I went to check out, it wasn't working. And I was like, I don't want to have to, I was like, I want my books. And so I looked, oh, look, y'all, I'm not going to Casey's and pee. I gotta go bad. So he was like trying to like reboot it and like all this stuff. And I was like, so I looked in my purse. Luckily I had $20 cash. Do not ask me. I never have cash. Oh, actually, so I actually started pulling out, let me go over here. So I actually started pulling out cash to like do in my cash stuffing envelopes that I've been doing, which I haven't been able to do for a few weeks because other bills came up that I had to pay. So I haven't been able to save, but I had pulled that out a few weeks ago and forgot about it. It was in my purse. So I was like, I only have 20 bucks cash. I was like, for real. So I was like, I'll show you my wallet. I was like, because I was like, I said, I can go get some more cash and come back. I really did not want to do that. I was hoping he would just be like, nah, 20's good. He did. He did. So I got my books for 20 bucks. So I was very excited, but I was like standing there. I was like, I was already having to pee when I was looking for the books. And I was like, I have got to go. So I'm running into the gas station. Yeah. I will show you guys my book haul later. I was hungry. So I picked up some lunch. We're going to have a car lunch because I'm going to my, I don't know, I about tried to put my seatbelt back on. I'm going to head over and see my mom. So, because it's on the way back to my house. So I was like, let me just get a snack in here. So I ended up getting a crispy chicken sandwich and I got some potato cheese bites. Do those not sound delicious? They look delicious. And I got a little cup of ranch for them. But I thought I will go ahead and show you what I got since I'm here in the car. So I ended up, like I said, I got 13 books. Okay. So some of these are actually Christmas or winter books. So I think I'm going to do a, yes, I'm already thinking ahead for reading. But since I got so many of them, I was like, ooh, I was like, I should just do like a Christmas, you know, thriller vlog. So I ended up picking up, okay, where are the chiller ones? Hang on. So apparently there's like, I looked it up, there's like 13 or 14 of the R.L. Stine Fear Street super chillers. So I ended up getting, I got Silent Night, Silent Night 2, obviously Christmas, so that's gonna be in the winter time. And then I got Cheerleader's New Evil. It's a Christmas one, so you know, do we see a theme here? Yes, yes we do. And then the Party Summer, I don't know why it's called Party Summer, but it should be Summer Party, but it was probably already taken. He probably has one called that. And then the Dead Lifeguard. These are the Fear Street super chillers that I got. So I'm already almost like halfway to having all of those. So it was a score on that. And then some other ones that I ended up getting. I picked up this Scream. It's like a Scream series, but it's My True Love Gave to Me. This one's also a Christmas one. This one's like, you better not shout, someone's in love with Holly Dunn. You better not cry, someone's sick, twisted, evil. You better not pout, this year that someone plans to show Holly his undying devotion with 12 terrifying gifts, or else she'll die. And come the last day of the holiday season, whether Holly's been naughty or nice, he's going to give her the ultimate present by turning her white Christmas into a dead Christmas. It just sounds fun. So I'm definitely doing a Christmas thriller. And then I picked up Deadly Detention by Eric Weiner. I don't know if this is a point horror. It doesn't really say, but you know, I mean, it's an old school thriller, so I like it. And then I got Night School by Caroline Cooney. Caroline, is that how you say it? Go to the light, Caroline. No, okay. Every time I hear like Caroline or Carolyn or Caroline, I like think of that movie. Go to the light, Caroline. I want to see that now. Poltergeist. I think I saw the remake of it, but I don't think I only saw it like once. Maybe I need to watch that again. I love old school. It is so hot in my car. Hang on, where's the air? Sorry if you can't hear me. I need this air going. AC on, please. Whew, I didn't have, okay. Cooler down. It's not even, it's only 45 out, but it feels warmer than that. I will take it over the winter any day. It is so nice out, y'all. But in my car it's hot. Anyway, Old School April just gets me in that mood to read and watch and do all the old school things. And I love it. So I'm glad it's coming up. And then I got Prom Dress by, I don't know how to say it, Lael Litke? Like, I don't know how to say that. It's point horror. And then I got All on a Winter's Day by Lisa Taylor, also point horror. I got The Window by Carol Ellis, point horror. And I picked up ones I knew I didn't have. I forgot to take a picture of the ones I did have, but I knew for a fact I did not have these. So, and then I got Master of Murder by Christopher Pike. And then I got Slumber Party by Christopher Pike. Oh, one of my books has someone's name on the top of it. That's okay. Anyway, I got all these books for 20 bucks. That's a deal. Yeah, apparently Brienne had this one before. She put her name on it. Anyway, I love these old books. I love the yellowing of the pages. Like, I know some people may not like that, but I don't know. I just do. Anyway, I'm gonna eat my lunch. Oh, and I got a Diet Dr. Pepper and cream soda. I've never had it. Oh, that's yummy. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna eat and then I'm gonna go see my mom. You need to make it. Oh, I'm back with some updates. It is Sunday. I have officially read all 4 of my books for all the prompts for the readathon. which technically ended last night, but I'm continuing today because I still have books I want to read. But I did finish book 2 in the Lightfall series. And in this story, we are following Beatrice and Cad, and also one of the other little guys. He doesn't have a name yet, from the first story. And her cat Nim, and they are on this adventure. They are trying to find the light bird. It's Kester. He's stolen the sun. So basically they have to try and find a way to stop him from taking all the light and to where everything is in shadows. So the artwork in here, you guys, it's just so colorful and it's so bright. I just really enjoy Kat and Beatrice's friendship and, you know, the loyalty they have to each other and like staying together no matter what, even though, you know, Beatrice finds her grandpa and she could have gone back with him, but Cad's moving on to his next adventure because he's like, we have to defeat the, you know, the bird. And so she's like, I'm going to go with you. And it's just a really good story. And it does hang on a little cliffhanger. So I definitely need to get the next book so that I can read it, so that I know how the story ends. So I'm giving this one 4 stars. And then I did start The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. I started this one first because it's a library book and my others are not. That way, if I don't get to them, it's okay. Look, my nails match the book. I did my nails. I did Color Street. I have a ton of Color Street. And so I did like a little floral pattern one that I had. Anyway, they're fun. So this one starts with Lady Camembert, and she is not happy that her father is trying to marry her off. She's like, I don't want to marry a man. And basically she's like, you know why I don't want to marry a man? I don't like any men. Basically, she likes girls. And her father is like, yes, I know that. He's like, but he's dying. And he's like, if you don't marry someone, you can't inherit the estate and you're not going to have anything. And so he's worried for her that she's going to have nothing if she doesn't marry someone. And she's like, I don't care. She's like, I'd rather starve than marry a man. And so he comes up with this idea for her to disguise herself as a man. So he wants her to disguise herself as a man, leave their estate and go move basically to another capital where he owns a townhouse, and that she can live there and lie low, but still be able to, you know, inherit, I guess, his stuff. Which I'm not sure what happens. I'm sure I'm gonna find this out because I'm not there yet. But I'm not sure what happened to the estate if she can never inherit it and, you know, if she doesn't get married. But I guess in this new capital, she's going to pose as his son. And hopefully nobody there knows her. Him. Because that's what he's disguising himself at. But he gets super bored. So, you know, their maid, one of their servants, I guess, he is the only one he trusts. And so they're to tell nobody except her. She's the only one who knows. And her name is Feta. I think it's so funny. Feta cheese. Anyway, she is bored out of her mind and she wants to go for a walk. And so she goes out and she sees this flyer for this ball that's being held by Princess Brie. So he ends up going to this ball. Everybody's intrigued on who this guy is. He makes friends with the princess and her friends. So they host like this fashion event that he like came up with the idea of. And I say she, just so you know who I'm talking about. When I say he, I'm talking about the female Cam who's impersonating being a man. And so he has a crush on Princess Brie, and obviously Princess Brie is starting to like him. And Feta is like, you can't have a relationship with a princess, because obviously a princess is not going to marry another girl. So it's like, that's why that's the whole reason she's impersonating being a guy, is because a woman cannot run the estate. So they say. So yeah, I am really enjoying this. This is a good time. I have 4 star feelings on this, maybe 5. I don't know. It's really good. So I'm anxious to keep reading in it. I'm only on page 75, but I definitely want to get back to it. I've had a lot of other things I've been doing this morning. So this morning I actually did online church. Gwen's church does a live stream of their church service. So I watched that this morning, and then Jess had her announcement for the next book picks for the Sleep When I'm Dead book club. So I was watching that. And then she did sprints for a little bit, which I was gonna read, but then I got a call from my sister. And so I was talking with her for a long time. And so, yeah. And then of course I did my nails, but that's what I've been up to. And it is now 1 o'clock. So I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and then I'm going to run to the home store. And I'll try and do maybe a little clippy clips in there, but it's a big, ginormous store of all the home stuff. Okay, you're done. You're done. And the dogs are barking. Anyway, I will check in with you guys later. gosh, you guys. That store is so big. I could be in there forever just browsing. It is so big. I did get a few things. I had a couple things in my cart and then I took them out and I was like, So you know how like garden stuff or like little statues or whatever, like if you look at them really closely, sometimes the paint job on them is just not that great. So I was like, I don't think I want to get that. But so I have a tiered tray that I always decorate, and I have stuff for Easter, and I have stuff for like kind of into spring going into summer. So I kind of decorate it like themed, seasonal or like holiday or whatever. And so I just took all my Valentine's stuff off. So I have like a strawberry and lemon decor stuff that I put out. That's kind of, I kind of have that theme that I'll do like in this late spring, early summer. I'll do 4th of July. I have like a sunflower and bee theme that I do, usually, you know, late summer. But I don't really have spring besides like Easter. And I'm not ready to do Easter yet. Well, it's coming soon, I know, but like, so I got a few things to do to put on there. So I got this little flower basket. Is that not so cute? And I have this little gnome guy, little fat gnome. And I got this little, it's like a fake succulent in a pot. It's cute. It was on sale. What is on the side of that? I'm gonna try and clean that off. Oh, okay, it comes off. Okay. All right, it comes off. But isn't that cute? And then I got this little gnome. It says, "Be someone's sunshine today." Is that not adorable? And this is kind of like that. It's supposed to be outdoor, but I'm gonna put it on the tray inside. So I got a couple gnomes and some little flowers. And then, and when I was at the checkout, I saw these. I love this brand of licorice. I love it. My favorite is the hot cinnamon one. Love it. But I love the strawberry also, but I've never had the green apple. So we're just gonna try it. We're just gonna try it. Oh, it smells good. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Delicious. I think they have a watermelon one. I haven't tried it either. That's good. I am headed back home and I'm gonna go back to reading my graphic novel. So I will check back in with you guys later. Good morning, friends. I'm back with some updates. I'm sitting at my kitchen island. Don't mind my background. This is my husband's 3D printing domain behind me. It's kind of messy, but that's his. I don't have anything to do with it. So my reading plans kind of went whoop downhill last night. So my plan was, after I got back from going to the at-home store, I was just gonna read. I was planning on reading all day. That did not happen. So when I got back from at home, I started reading, you know, Princess and the Grilled Cheese. I had just like maybe a third of it left. And then my sister called and said that she thought she needed to go to the ER. So her boyfriend was gonna take her, but he wasn't gonna be able to stay with her because he was gonna have to work. So I hurried up, made my husband's protein donuts. I packed up my books, all my books, my laptop. I was planning on being there for a while because last time I was there with my mom, I was there a while. I did end up being there for 4.5 hours, but I did not manage to read anything because I was mostly just talking with my sister. But I did manage to edit my scrapbook swap video, so I'm gonna get that posted hopefully today. So I didn't get to read. I didn't get to read the extra books I wanted to read. I did manage to finish Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich when I got home last night. Yeah, this book is so cute. So the ending does kind of rush pretty quick, but I mean, you pretty much know, you know, what the outcome's gonna be. I do love that in the back, there is a story. It's an author's note. And it's basically like shows like that this story is based off of her and her wife. The story's not like exactly, obviously not exactly what happened, but the characters are based on her and her wife. And yeah, and it just says that the story saw her through some pretty tough struggles related to her sexuality and the character of Camembert, with the nonchalant attitude toward gender and how she was presented, allowed her to explore things about her own identity that she had been bottling up for a long time. So I thought that was very interesting, that the story, you know, is basically based off of her and her wife. I thought that was cute. So I am going to give this one, I'm on the fence on this one. I really feel like I want to give it 5 stars. Because I had a really good time with it, and the artwork was really cute. Definitely a 4 or 5. I'll have to think on it. But it's definitely one to pick up. I really had a good time with it. So the 3 that I am not going to get to is Part of Your World, Chef's Kiss, and The Girl from the Sea. I will read these when I do another graphic novel reading vlog, which I will be doing this year. So probably this summer. Yeah, probably this summer. I think I'll probably get some more from the library and do a vlog. So those will be on my next round of reading. But to recap, for this one, I ended up reading Off Menu. I gave this one 3 stars. This was pretty cute. My Goosebumps, I gave this one 5 stars. This was the one that had 3 different stories in it. Fairest of All, I gave this one 4 stars. Lightfall, this is the second book. I gave this one 4 stars. And then Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich, probably 5 stars. So overall, I really enjoyed all of these books and would highly recommend picking any of them up. Also, I did want to mention that I used my popcorn bookmark the entire time. I don't know, I just felt like it was fun. This kind of just took me back to my childhood. And it smells so good, y'all. It's a scratch and sniff popcorn. It says, reading makes my heart pop. If y'all ever find any scratch and sniff stickers, yeah, send them my way. It smells so good. My friend Sonia sent this to me. She sent this in the last package that she sent me. So thank you so much, friend. I love it. Anyway, that is it for this vlog. I'm going to close it out. I did for a hot second think about continuing the vlog today to read those, but I have other things I need to move on to. So we are going to end it here for now. Did you participate in Let's Get Graphic? How many books did you read? Did you like your books? Let me know all the things in the comments below. And until my next video, friends, be yourself, be awesome, be kind.